All right, guys, so sorry about that phone call. So we were just getting our handy dandy calculators just in case we needed to do some multiplication. And we are going to start by identifying what's given to us. So we need to work on getting used to leaving things in terms of pi. We'll work a lot with pi in pre-calc or if those going into calculus, so be aware. That being said, we're going to keep everything in terms of pi, so it'll be numbers just times pi. So since I have the diameter, I need the diameter times pi. So number 11, my answer is just 23 pi. Now in problem 12, however, I have my radius. So I have to take 2 times that 12.6, and we're going to put the pi there just to be on the safe side. And then 2 times 12.6 gives me 25.2 pi. And again, 13 is fairly simple. The diameter pi. Now, we have 2 examples in our formula book. I want you to pause video and go put them in. Great, thanks. Next idea we have is what's called arc length. And arc length is, it's a fraction, where is my highlighter? It's a fraction of the circle's circumference, or as I like to refer to it, I write really big, so I'm trying to make my marker. It's a piece of the circumference. That's how I like to think of arc length. Arc length is a piece of the circumference. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the fraction, the degree out of 360, the degree of my arc that I'm looking for, the length of the arc. And I'm going to take that times my circumference formula. So if I'm giving the diameter, I take the diameter times pi. Oh, excuse me. If I'm given the radius, I take the radius times 2 and then that times pi. So I need to extendo pago. Okay, we're going to go ahead and find the answers for 14 and 15. So to start with, I take the degree I'm given over 360, and I'm looking for the length of xy. So arc xy is right here, and his central angle is 90 degrees. So I'm going to start with 90 divided by 360. And I kind of like to simplify my fractions before I really use them. And I know that 90 and 360 can both be divided by 90, and that could reduce down to a fourth. And then I'm going to take that 1/4 times my radius times 2 or my diameter, and I notice I'm given the diameter, so I'm going to take that times 16 pi, and we're just going to simplify. So when I multiply a fraction, when I multiply a fraction of the whole number, I take the top number times the whole number and then divide by the bottom. So 1 times 16 is 16. 16 divided by 4 is 4. So my final answer for problem number 14 is simply 4 pi. And again, we're finding a length. So because we're finding a length, it's only one dimensional, so it would be units of feet, squared, inches, meters, all that such. All right, number 15. Same idea. We're going to take our degree over 360. And if I notice, it's asking to find x, p, y. So x to p to y, so it's the bigger guy. And I can see it's denoted by 240. So 240 over 360. And I want to simplify. And if I end in a 0, I can divide both by 10. So I'm left with 24 over 36. And I know those can both divide by 12. So 24 divided by 12 is 2. 36 divided by 12 is 3. So I have 2/3 times, well, on this one I'm only given the radius, so I need to multiply that by 2. 15 times 2, 30. Now, if I could see a simpler way of doing, instead of top times the whole number divided by the bottom, I can see if I can cross cancel. So for example, I know eventually I'm going to divide by 3. The order of operations, multiply and then divide. I can also divide first, because technically as a fraction, you have both going on simultaneously. So I know that 30 can be divided by 3, so I'm going to divide both by 3. 3 divided by 3 turns into 1, and 30 divided by 3 turns into 10. So now instead of multiplying and dividing, I've already done the divisions, so I can multiply with smaller numbers. So 2 times 10, which gives me 20. All right, guys, I forgot, we need to do I almost told you to have a great day, and we didn't do our formula book. So our next idea, so we're going to flip to the next page, is going to be arc length. So again, I'm just going to start folding these. I feel like that works easier. Ignore my poopy spelling and crappy handwriting. So arc length is a piece of the circumference. It is the measure of the arc over 360 times my circumference formula. And then on the bottom, I just had the 2 examples that we just did, and then I worked them out. Now have a wonderful day.